Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a todos. Good afternoon and welcome everyone. Welcome to a community dedicated to providing spiritual tools for living a happy and full life. My name is Karina Shearer and I am the spiritual director and founding minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living Puerto Vallarta. Today is Saturday, June 20th, and we're continuing with our annual theme, which is 2020 Spiritual Vision. The topic for this month is Mindfulness for Mavericks, and this week's topic is Mindful Speech. We open each week with a spiritual practice called affirmative prayer, also known as spiritual mind treatment. This is a powerful tool and a practical tool that shifts our consciousness so that we are open and available to accept the good that is already present in our life. It aligns our thoughts with all good. So let's move into today's service with intention, as we do each week by reading from the Creative Thought magazine. I'll be reading from June 17th, 2014. Spiritual mind treatment is always done in the first person, so I invite you to close your eyes and to take these words as your own if you so choose. God is my being. There is one power, one perfect being. That beingness has its way through my beingness. God is me and as me. We operate from the same platform. My thoughts are in alignment with universal good. I am ever and ever supplied in all that I need and desire. I am in alignment with God's prosperity because it is the desire of the divine that I am prosperous. That which I see as tangible is my thought made manifest. And my thought is that God moved into action through its beingness as me. My thought moves the universe from infinite possibility into tangible certainty. I hold my word on high watch in God consciousness, and as I do so, I create the same as the image projected. I speak my word in the consciousness, awareness of all good, for the purpose of creating God consciousness in my life and in my world of effects. I place my heart into this. As I enter unto this loving space with warmth and feeling, I know that my thoughts are in alignment with universal good. I am, therefore, and forevermore, ever and ever supplied in all that I need and desire. I let this loose into the God mind, and with ever increasing gratefulness, from this space and place, the law of mind accepts it as true and makes it so. Thank you, Spirit. And so it is. And that was submitted by Reverend Wayne Edmondson from Arroyo Grande, California. So let's review our purpose and vision statements. We have a grand purpose here each week. Our purpose is to awaken and celebrate diversity and to love and serve our community. This is supported by our vision, which is to educate and support each other so we can create the life we desire that works for us right now. And we do this by means of our mission, which is to provide spiritual tools for personal growth and transformation. I'd like to take this time to welcome everyone. Welcome to a center where everyone is valued. So please know that each and every one of you is welcomed to our center, and know that you are loved. We teach a philosophy here called the Science of Mind. It's a teaching based on new thought and ancient wisdom. We offer spiritual tools and principles to promote personal growth. And we honor diversity in all aspects so that we can see and appreciate the great oneness that already exists everywhere and within everyone. When Dr. Ernest Holmes founded this teaching in the 1920s, he had studied both Eastern and Western spiritual texts to create the Science of Mind, which focuses on the individual use of thoughts and this powerful thing called the mind. Each week, we offer a service with an inspirational message. And normally, this would be done at a restaurant in downtown Puerto Vallarta. But since we are still in somewhat of an isolation, I welcome you into my home. So once we get back to the new normal, we will again be resuming our gatherings at the local restaurant to support the traditional mom and pop style restaurant that they are. Well, we can have a time afterwards to discuss and enjoy some home style Mexican cooking. More information on when we'll be opening up again will be listed on our website and as well on Facebook, along with the directions to get there. So if you have any questions or comments, you can certainly post them here online or send them to me by direct email, and I'll be sure to respond. We are co-creators that live and speak life into being in alignment with Spirit. Our thoughts and our words have impact and meaning. We are creative agents through them and with them. And yet, as the following quote from the Science of Mind states, we must put meaning and belief into our thoughts, our words, our prayers. It's the meaning, the conviction, the mindfulness that is the root, the link from which our words come to life. Dr. Ernest Holmes, in the definitive edition of the Science of Mind, states, God is intelligent mind and spirit, and there is a direct response from this universal intelligence to our intelligence. If we ask for bread, we shall not receive a stone, but we are told we must ask believing if we are to receive. Here again, we are meeting the law of cause and effect in the teachings of Jesus. Prayer is a mental as well as a spiritual function of intelligence. It is a certain manner of approach to the spirit, a conscious act of the mind, a concrete experience of the knowing faculty. Prayer should be direct and specific and should always be accompanied by a positive receptivity. God cannot answer prayers which have no meaning. This month, we are focusing on mindfulness in our breath, in our intentions, our speech, and our actions. The first week, we discussed breathing, and we're reminded that spirit breathes itself as life. Last week, we looked at our mindful intentions, and this week, we focus on our mindful speech. What we say matters. In the Bible, the book of John states, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Creation has spoken into being, breathed into being through intention, creativity, manifested as the word. We similarly create through our language. That world is from and of every form of language, bringing life into being. We also have the power to cause great harm with our speech, or great harm through not speaking up. We are sometimes afraid of our own voice or the voices of others. Audre Lorde writes, "I have come to believe over and over again that what is most important to me must be spoken, made verbal, and shared, even at the risk of it having bruised or misunderstood." Mindful speech allows us to speak our truth bravely and boldly into the world. And when we're practiced in speaking our truth, we are invited to mindfully listen to the truth of others. So let's take a deeper look into these 3 key points. We'll be discussing the word that breathed creation, being afraid of our truth, and of mindful speech and hope. So let's start with the word that birthed creation. It's no surprise that in the book of John in the Bible, it speaks to a word, the word, so intimately attuned with creation, with God, that it sparked a manifested universe teeming with life. When we are intimately aligned with our word, we too live into our own creative story. We use language as a way to connect with others, to get what we need to survive, to build what we need to thrive, and to prophetically speak into being the communities and world that we want to see. That is our reality. It is our calling and our privilege to hold the tool of language and of speech. There's over 6,500 languages in the world through which we are all communicating. There is such diversity in how the power and intimacy of our word, or our truth, our calling, gets born into the world. Audre Lorde again says this: "I've come to believe over and over again that what is most important to me must be spoken, made verbal and shared, even at the risk of having it bruised or misunderstood." I grew up in a time when it was the norm that children were to be seen and not heard. As a young girl, I was labeled as being shy, and I didn't speak unless I was spoken to. And even then, I wasn't able to respond, often hearing the words, "Don't talk back," feeling I couldn't defend myself. This habit extended through my teen years and beyond. And I wonder why I had often had throat infections and laryngitis. When I did speak out, I was accused of talking too much. And so then I would retreat back inside again, choking back my words. It wasn't until I left an unfavorable 10-year relationship before I was able to find and express my thoughts through my words. Which brings us to our second point, which is that we are afraid of our truth. And yet, we are sometimes frightened to speak, to express what is most true for us because we fear the repercussions of stating our needs, of our thoughts, our feelings, our observations about the world. We wonder if we are safe, or we feel we don't have the communication tools necessary to share effectively. So sometimes we either say very little, like I did, only what is needed, or we say the few things that we feel comfortable saying through a microphone, letting the volume of our sharing make up for what we feel we cannot express. Or perhaps we say a lot, like I also did. But we do not put a lot of meaning into what we are saying. We distract ourselves with words. There are times when these methods serve, yet we know that when we move into more mindful speech, we have much greater access to communicating in a fuller and more truthful way. Here's another quote from Audre Lorde. When we speak, we are afraid of our words, will not be heard or welcomed. But when we are silent, we are still afraid. So it is better to speak. And finally, our third point, which is mindful speech and hope. Harvey Milk said, "Hope is never silent." This doesn't mean that hope can't come forth in silent moments, or that silence is not a healthy part of mindful speech. For to get to a place of mindful speech, we must also be mindful listeners, both to ourselves and others, and also to the silence. It's possible that Harvey Milk was saying that when we listen ourselves or silence others, not much gets to be born. Inner and outer transformation is born through intentional language. What we say to ourselves, what we build with others, and what we say out broadly to the world. The key is to listen and then speak our word mindfully. Finally, I'd like to share with you a quote from Mark Nepo in his book, 7,000 Ways to Listen. In real ways, we are invited each day to slow down and listen. But why listen at all? Because listening stitches the world together. Because listening is the doorway to everything that matters. It enlivens the heart the way breathing enlivens the lungs. We listen to awaken our heart. We do this to stay vital and alive. This is the work of reverence, to stay vital and alive by listening deeply. Mindful speech occurs when we mindfully listen. The mindfulness occurs when we slow down, breathe in, step out of reactivity, whether that reactivity results in us shutting down or slapping back, and align ourselves with the truest truth within us. When we speak from that place, we speak a world of love and power into being. Mindfulness in general and mindful speech gives us greater access to building a world that works for all. I have one more final quote, and that's from Brian Muldoon on the power of listening. Of all the tools available to us dealing with conflict, none is more important than attentive, intentional listening. Listening helps reduce resistance and opens our thinking to creative solutions. Listening not only clarifies the message, but changes both the messenger and the listener. Listening makes it possible for both sides to have a change of heart. So we have a positive affirmation today, which is, we speak life into being with an intention of love, oneness, and peace for ourselves and all living things. So this is now our time for gratitude. To feed back to where you have been fed from your spiritual home. So if you are receiving some good information to help you to live a better life, then I ask that you kindly donate to the Center for Spiritual Living Puerto Vallarta. You can go now to our website, which is www.cslpv.org, and click on the front page on the PayPal icon and donate whatever you can, whatever you feel is appropriate. And know that your giving is blessed. So if you would like to repeat these affirmations after me, I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give and receive. And together we say, I do give eternal thanks for the abundance that is mine to share. So please treat yourself well, with love, with intention, with mindfulness. Treat others the way that you want to be treated. And I know that you will receive that and so much more in return. So thank you for being with us here today. Know that you are loved and blessed. Namaste.